Hey, what's up? Aaron here. So, as a drummer, independent musician, and solo artist, it was pretty disheartening for one of my first ever official reviews from my first solo EP in 2017 to include things like lack of dynamics was obvious when the snare hits sound exactly the same, or that I should consider working with a bassist and drummer, and even things like something gets lost in translation with bedroom recordings. But maybe it had to do with the fact that I had no idea what I was doing when I first started releasing my own music. Growing up, I was always on stage playing live, but as an adult, I found it more and more difficult to connect with others musically as my tastes were evolving, but my circle of friends was basically not. Toward the end of this time, I got married and started focusing on new things like purchasing our first home and starting to build my family. After my first EP not getting the best response from really anyone, I decided to seek out the best possible techniques for my own productions so I could at least make a demo or EP that I could be proud of and start connecting with other like minded musicians. It wasn't long after that when I started discovering artists like Intervals, Nick Johnston, and others I would eventually all come to realize were all mixed by some dude named Jordan Valerio, who I hadn't ever heard of before then. Um, but I was instantly hooked after trying a free PDF EQ cheat sheet. And frankly, even after just working my first mixes over with that guide, I was already floored with how much better my mixes were sounding. I then went on to join hardcore tracking, editing, and mixing. I wasn't too far into hardcore tracking when I had a major breakthrough that ended up causing a ripple effect that I don't think anyone could have predicted. For some reason, up until that point, I was trying to make greatness out of substandard recordings. And when I learned in hardcore tracking that greatness is captured at the source, I completely shifted my whole approach. Fast forward to 2019, I was quitting my corporate job and going full time in the studio, taking on weird creative side jobs, and that's when it happened. I started doing voice acting for a living. And it might sound crazy, but in 2020, I went on to join the top ranks of voice actors and have now made thousands of voiceovers for top Fortune 500 companies, top publishers, and beyond. And all because I learned how to capture my voice properly for this industry at the source. The crazy part is, I'm now being contacted by more, even bigger opportunities beyond voice acting that already is leading to having a full time job producing my own music for television and film. I've barely even started to apply the other profound knowledge I've begun to deduce from Jordan's courses. I literally cannot begin to guess what will happen next.